So welcome to another dojo video. Today we're going to continue to look at the different movements that you can do with the jo. Also we're going to look, in the previous video we looked more at different coordination movements. This time we're going to look not only at some movements which are good for the body development, but also some of the movements which will be more connected to what we do in Aikido, or the Aikido movements and free movement connected together. So the first couple of movements we're going to start with is we're going to learn to catch the jo as it drops out of the thumb. So here, if I hold the jo just with the thumb and I turn it back, eventually the jo is going to start breaking the thumb. And that's the moment where I use the momentum and let go and catch with the other hand. So this is pretty easy. It's just a movement it's a part of the movement here. So the jo drops and I catch. And if you give some momentum to it, it makes a full circle nicely. So you can even add a little bit of a spin here. So spin, catch, spin, catch. If you want to do something more extra, you can also let it go into the air. As it goes, throw it out, catch. Throw it out, catch. So actually you can even let it spin for a couple of times. So you might need some practice for that, but this is an initial exercise. So when you start to get the hang of this, now we're going to move to the second movement. So what we haven't learned in the previous video is the ability to turn the jo around here to give a constant movement, a constant flow in a circle way to the back. Now if you looked closely, you probably saw that we used the movement that I showed you before. So basically, the way you do it all together, we start by holding the jo with the hand up, turn, turn. Now as you turn, you go back. Using the hips, you go back behind the back, here, and turn around the jo again. So if I show it from the front, 1, 1, 2, here. So 1, 2 here. Now at this moment, the other hand grabs the jo, so it's looking up, takes it out, turns it out, and now at this moment, we use the previous movement, go back, back, thumb, catch. And we're back to the initial position. So here, turn, go back, turn, go back, turn, catch, go out, thumb movement, catch, and we're back in this position. So if we do it continuously, here, catch, here. So it becomes a single movement with a nice spin to it. So that's already looks quite impressive from the side. So here now it's a continuous flow, it has a nice feeling, nice exercise for the wrists, so it's a good beginning. Now another movement that we can add to this section, to this part, is a turn of the jo of the staff inside the palm. So if I hold the jo on the top of my palm, again the thumb is slightly holding it on the side. Now I turn, I bring the jo back to myself, I turn the jo, turn out, and I release the thumb. I can actually spin the jo on top of the hand without actually holding it. It goes out for a slight moment, but nevertheless it's enough. So if I just do it here, it's probably not going to be enough momentum for the Joe to spin. But now, if I give some momentum, so the Joe pulls back, I turn it out, again using the hips, I catch. Use the hips, catch. So now if you learn to do this movement, you can do it repeatedly, and also what looks nicer, actually, you can do it above your head. So you can start here, turn it out above the head. Turn it out above the head. Here. So now the reason I'm showing this specific movement at this moment is actually that's instead of here, starting the continuous flowing movement behind the back here, you can actually start with this movement above the head. Here, turn, go back, catch. Turn above the head, go back, catch. And now if you connect those, it actually becomes an even fuller movement, which is nice for the eyes and also nice for the body development. Here. Or even more circles here. So, I'm pretty sure that's enough information for you to get that. And one more movement we're going to add to this section. It's a fairly difficult movement, but it's definitely possible to learn. So if I hold the Joe to the side and then I turn the hand over, now my hand is twisted here. To bring it out with the arm, it's probably not going to be enough space anyway, but what we want to do, we want to use the hips. We use the hips. The hips turn, and as the hips turn, the arm follows here, here, and then I turn out the Joe. And again, we're back to our initial position that we started with. So the arm is twisted here, hips, the point of the Joe goes out, I turn out the Joe. So now if I do it without stopping here, it's actually a very strong movement since there's a lot of hip movement and the Joe, the staff, receives a lot of energy. And actually you can do it without a big stop. You can keep coming back. Again, as I mentioned, the hips are very important here. I'm going to show it from the back. Here. It's very important to use the hips here. Use the hips. That's actually what's going to help your Aikido, since Aikido is so much about the hips, or what we call the center. Here. So now, again, as you saw this movement, as we turn, we go out, and we can come back to our previous movement here. So if we connect the two, I'll show it slowly first. Turn out the Joe, go back, catch. Turn out, go back, catch. Turn out, go back, catch. And now it's becoming a fairly impressive full movement, quite fast if you actually catch it. You can do it without the twist or with it, but once more, what we're achieving now is a more continuous, full flowing movement. So if you want, you can actually connect all of those movements. Start above, go here, spin here, and you can improvise with them as well, adding each movement as you wish. But now we have a more flowing movement here. And maybe last thing you can add to this section, from the previous video, you can actually turn the fingers, turn the Joe between the fingers. So if you add that, there's another extra movement for you to play with. Here. Turn out, spin between the fingers, give the jo, turn out, spin, give. And actually, so if you look at it without the explanation, it might look like a lot of different difficult movements. And some of them are not easy, but once more, if you start connecting them, it becomes actually quite obvious how it goes and what it does. So we haven't looked at the basic movements of Aikido. In the next video, as I mentioned before, in my promise, we're going to look at how to connect some of the Aikido movements into the practice of the free movement. But right now, first of all, I wanted you to learn the flow of the jo. So I hope this video is enough to explain that. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Also, if you want to see something else, you're interested in other Aikido topics, also let me know. We're constantly making more videos, mainly tutorials, and we're expanding what we offer. So this section is about the weapons. If you want, you can check the traditional Aikido weapons, the 20 movements with the jo, or 7 movements with the sword. So there's plenty of stuff, but all in all, I'm glad you stayed all the way up to the end. My name is Sensei Rokas, and I'll see you on the virtual mat again soon.